Well, that was weird. That was quite strange. Murphy just showed up at my front door. Roundup. Murphy just knocked at my front door. I promise you. Murphy loves to hang out with me during the day. He loves to come by, pop his head up. Send out these last few notifications here. And we're going to get rocking and rolling. Roundup. You should feel honored. You should feel so honored as I am for wanting to learn this stuff. You have to want to learn this stuff because shit. People ain't gonna, this information is not gonna fall off a tree. You should be honored that you are taking the time to educate yourself, as I have spent thousands of dollars on education. Man, I am so honored to be here with you. Rounduppers, thank you for joining us. This is Chris Haskins with the realestateroundup.com. Let's get rocking and rolling so we can get you out of here. 2:00. I'm going to get started here. Today, our focus is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. In doing that, today we're talking about buying property in a land trust. Oh man, I'm so honored to be here. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me, right? I want to thank you for taking the time. You could be anywhere, but here you are educating yourself. As I think back when I started in 2004, buying houses in my name like a dummy. A few years, then I started buying them in my LLC's name, being unaware. Now we buy properties in trust, and if you live in certain states, you might have to rename it to a revocable grantor trust. But either way, you will not be on title. So Roundup, make sure you go to the video, go to the video description below, download your land trust document packet so you can follow along. I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. First of all, I'm going to give you a quick explanation of how this stuff works, why you would want to use it first. My first thing I'm going to talk about is why in the hell do you want to use a land trust? Why? Why does it even matter, right? For me, I remember when I used to get terrible advice from my accountant back in the day. She said, you can just put the house in your name. Doesn't really matter. Roundup, I hope you are getting your advice from the right people, right? So I'm going to give you 50% off if you download my land trust document packet today, and that is in the video description. So, and the discount code for that is TRUST. TRUST. The discount code for my land trust document is TRUST, and it's right there. I'll put it on the little screen there. Roundup, thanks you. Let's do this. Let's get rocking and rolling. I got my bearings, and we're going to be doing some quick training today. We are doing our land trust masterclass. Get your documents out because we're going to be going over this stuff. So you're going to know exactly how to do this. Somebody did, I don't know. I needed Kimbella. I didn't see your invoice. I don't know where yours is. If you send your invoice over, I'm more than happy to send it to you, but I don't know if you don't have an invoice. Roundup. Why do we want to buy houses and not in our name and not in our company name, right? You should not be doing this. And I promise you, I'm learning this from the old, as I always like to say, if the old rich white dude tells you to do something, at least consider it, right? At least consider it. So why do we want to do that? First step in using land trust Roundup is privacy. Privacy. The good thing about it is you don't come up on public record, right? So when people go down to the courthouse to search your boy, they're going to search for Chris Haskins, as no doubt they already are doing. Nothing is going to come up on title because I don't own anything. I don't own anything, right? So I want to make sure that when someone comes after you, and 9 times out of 10 in your lifetime, it's going to happen, right? So when they do that, you have nothing in your name. Like Rockefeller says, control everything but own nothing. Control everything, own nothing. Let me see if I can find this thing for you. I don't know. I don't see where Kimber, you sent me an invoice. I'll look right now. I don't know where. Okay, gotcha. You got it there. All right, let me send this. Y'all give me, Kimber, you give me a hard time. And Kimbella, you owe me one on this one. Hold up, y'all. Let me get this young lady straight here. Good gracious, you did send this thing. Here's the link. I'll send you the link so you can have your docs. I don't know what happened, but sorry about this, y'all. First step is privacy. Why do we want to use a land trust? A shareable link. Send it to you there. You guys, Kimbella, you owe me one on this one. You give me, I don't know who. Anyway, I'm working, y'all. Second reason we want to use land trust. They are judgment proof. Judgment proof rounduppers. I wish I could tell you I get calls all the time. All the time. People call me, Chris, I got a judgment coming down the pipeline. What can you do to help me? There's nothing I can do to help you if the judgment is already here or on the way. So if you put the property in a trust from the start, then this judgment here will not be attached to the property. And what do we mean by attached to the property, right? And Roundup, don't forget, please put your questions in the chat box right there below on the left. Please get your questions in there so we can get them answered today. I'm going to go over all the questions. I'll do a short, very brief keynote so you'll understand how and why land trusts work so good. And then we'll get to Q&A right in the chat box over there to your left there. So judgment proof. So when we own a property in a land trust, it won't be attached to the property. We can sell it. Now, what do I mean by being attached? Every time you sell a house in America, all right, they do something called a title search. And when they do that title search, they want to know who owns that search. So if Chris Haskins has a $100,000 judgment, it's not necessarily that it attaches to the property, because the only lien that attaches to the property is going to be a mechanic's lien. That's going to be from a contractor, right? But if you have a judgment against you, prime example, I'm doing a deal now. Guy has $60,000 child support, right? So I'm doing this deal. If unfortunately it has attached to the property, well, I don't want to say attached. His name is in the chain of title. So once your name gets into the chain of title Roundup, you're done. You are done. You will have to satisfy those judgments before you can pass on title to the new buyer. Land trusts, judgment proof, y'all. Judgment proof. Oh my goodness, because it won't attach to the property. I remember one time I sold a house, and then the new owner didn't pay the taxes, and they tried to come after me for some back taxes. And I said, you know what? Come on after. They sent me 2 letters. The letters were invoicing the trust, right? I'm like, the trust is dead. It doesn't own anything anymore. I don't own it anymore. Has nothing to do. It doesn't own any other assets. So I completely ignored it. And that I guess that claim, let's go to my next one. That claim went away. They're claim proof. So if you get into a car accident, right? You get an insurance claim. They come after you. They're going to look up, see what you own. What do you own? Roundup. Promise you, put this stuff in a trust. The reason you don't want to put it in your company name is because I can go right down to the web. Well, I don't even have to go down. I'm going to go right to the website, the city website. The state corporation commission. And you can type in my company name and see who the registered agent is. And then I'm going to start sniffing around and see, what does that registered agent have to do with this particular claim or judgment, right? So they're going to find out who owns. Eventually, they'll be able to find out who owns that LLC. And the last reason that I'm a huge advocate and I practice this stuff, Roundup. If you've been following my content, you see me show you my deeds. You see me show you my contracts, and we're going to show you a deed today. We put every house I buy in a trust. So today I'm going to be going over the moving parts, the documents that you're going to need to put the properties into these trusts. So sit back and relax. You're in good hands. You know your boy's going to be working for you. That's what we do, right? All right. So if you haven't yet, make sure you download your land trust document packet so you can follow along while I'm discussing how it works. So the land trust, typically, if you just get in your mind, all it is a way to own title or take title to a piece of real estate. Let me repeat that. If you can just get this in your mind, a trust is simply a way to take title to a piece of real estate. It is a pass-through entity. It does not require a tax ID. It does not require any type of reporting to the IRS because it flows all the way through to, yes, the beneficiaries. And I've heard some people say this stuff is boring, but to me, talking about land trusts and titling houses out of your name and out of your company name, to me, it's exciting. I thoroughly enjoy talking about this stuff, Okay. So, I got my bearings here. I always like to refer to the book. You got to refer to the higher power. What is a trust? What is a trust? Let's come to bearings. A trust is an arrangement whereby property is transferred to a trusted third party. It's going to be our trustee by the grantor, the beneficiary. That's going to be the beneficiary. The trustee holds the title. It holds the property for the benefit of another, which is the beneficiary. Now, let me repeat that. The trust is an arrangement whereby property is transferred to a trusted third party. That's the trustee. The trustee holds the property for the benefit of another, and that is the beneficiary. So the trustee signs all the documents, right? I don't sign anything. Matter of fact, I've got a closing today. I won't be signing a thing. We don't sign closing stuff. We just do not sign them. Okay. And if you are, then you are the one that's going to be held liable. Anyway, you guys have been following my content. You know how stern I am about using trusts. Make sure everything's good here. 1 second, guys. Okay. We got 3 parts to the trust roundup. 3 parts. I need you to remember this stuff. Kind of burn it in your brain. And don't beat yourself up if you don't understand it. Remember, Ronald Grant says, took him 7 times, like when he goes, took him 7 times to hear this. It took me 3 years. 3 years roundup for me to get this stuff in my mind. And it's so weird now that I'm doing deals. I'm getting more a little notoriety in the industry. I'm selling houses to people, and I see the investors are now buying in trusts. I did one recently where I sold it from my trust to their trust, and I'm like, wow, they are really getting this stuff. So we are making a difference. We are making the difference, y'all. All right, the 3 parts to your land trust. Very simple. Remember this, and don't forget in your mind, land trust. Nothing but a way to take title to a piece of real estate. Just remember that. I don't want you to get all scared of this word trust because it's really pathetically simple. 1 second, y'all. Let me get my other docs here. Make sure I got them all up. Land trust training. Example of deed. Boom. Gotcha. Oh boy, I got you covered here. Y'all know I got you. You know you're in good hands with your boy. All right, 3 parts to the trust, right? Your trustee, your trust agreement, and the beneficiaries. And some might say for the deed, or some might say for the house, but I like to just kind of make it simple. 3, the number 3 just to me is kind of easy for me to remember. So I'm going to give you the definitions of all this stuff. So we already got our trust agreement, right? The trust, where I'm going to read it again, the arrangement whereby property is transferred to a trusted third party. The trustee holds the title for the benefit of the beneficiary. So let's go to our word trustee. I'm glad you guys asked about that. And make sure you download your document packet below. It'll be on sale until midnight tonight. All right. The trustee. This is my guy here, my guy that signs all of the documents. He signs the purchase and sale agreement. He signs the HUD. He signs for any loans that we borrow. I don't go in there and sign for this stuff because the trust is borrowing the money. Remember, rule number 2, we don't personally guarantee debt unless we choose to do that, right? So the trust can actually, did you know the trust can borrow the money on your behalf? Isn't that cool? What is the trustee? One who holds property in trust for another to secure performance of an obligation. He is the neutral party in a trust deed transaction. I'll repeat that. One who holds property in trust. He's holding the property for this trust here. All right, so he signs everything. One who holds property in trust for another to secure performance of an obligation. The neutral party in a trust deed transaction. Now, what you must understand, my roundup, is your trustee has the power. Your trustee has the power to sell your house, refinance your property. He has the power to go, borrow against it. Refinancing it the same way, sell it. He can transfer title subject to, even if you have a loan on it. He's got a lot of power. He can encumber that property. He's got a lot of power. So roundup, my real estate roundup, bam. Make sure you use a trustee that you trust. All right. So for me, I know there are a few people in the world that I can trust. There are few people I could probably put them on one hand, right? You got to have somebody you can trust. And what we do offer trustee services are charged $200 as long as you know what the heck you're doing. You can mail the docs, we'll do it for you. That's a service that I do. I don't make any money on this stuff. It takes me more. I lose money actually taking the time out of my day to get these documents notarized for you. But your trust better be someone that has integrity, their honesty, and they have a fiduciary duty to do what's right on the behalf of the beneficiaries. So we'll get to the beneficiaries in a minute, but they have a fiduciary duty. They have to do what's right for you, right? But yes, you better keep that in mind. And the good thing about the trustee is they have no liability. The trustee has zero liability when it comes to getting claims or anything. So I've had a trustee file bankruptcy. Didn't bother me at all because it has no claim against my house. The beneficiary. Let's do this. The next part in our land trust. I'm excited. I love talking about this stuff. I don't know why people would think it's boring, right? As we approach, we got 100 people watching right now. I'm like, I could talk about this trust stuff all day because I'm thinking about being anonymous when I do business. I don't have to worry about people looking for you, boy. The beneficiary. Last part, the beneficiary. Here we go. I hope y'all follow me. Get your land trust document downloaded so you can follow us. The beneficiary is a person who receives or is to receive the benefits resulting from certain acts. The person who receives or is to receive the benefits resulting from certain acts. And the certain acts in this one is ownership of a piece of property. Now, this is where we are here. We are the beneficiaries, us, our living trust, if you want to layer it up. And let me, I forgot to put my disclaimer in here. Round up. I am not an attorney. I'm not an accountant, so I'm not providing legal or professional advice. This is for informational purposes only. Informational purposes only. Get out there, hire your attorney, let them charge your arm and a leg, and then you'll come back to your boy and download the documents from here for a couple bucks, right? Same thing happened to me. I was paying attorneys to draft this stuff up. I'm like, what am I doing? I click the button, I fill out a few lines, and it's over. So I pray that you possibly take your own future in your own hands. You can do this stuff on your own. It's not rocket science. All right. So the beneficiary is the one that benefits from this transaction. That we get the rents, we get the money when the property is disposed of, when it's sold, right? Any type of down payment. So if you're doing lease options or owner financing, you get that money in. And obviously we compensate our trustee when we close the deal. But the trustee is nothing but a pawn out there. So I'm a trustee for several people, right? They say, Chris, I need you to come sign. I show up, I get my check, I'm gone. That's how a trustee should be. So today, as a matter of fact, for our closing today, my trustee will call me from the closing. He'll say, Chris, have you looked over all the documents? I'm going to yay or nay. And then it's over, because the beneficiary is the one in the background that benefits from the entire transaction. We're like the wizard behind the curtain, right? So how does this land trust stuff work? Now you understand why and the moving parts. Let me put it all together for you for how it works, right? This is where the magic comes in. So you have a house. The good thing about a house is it's real property, right? A house is real property. Yes, grantor revocable trust, same thing. Depending on what state you're in, you can call it land trust, grantor revocable trust, grantor living trust. You can fancy it up however you like, depending on what state you're in. I don't know what state you're in, my friend. You might not be in a land trust state, but you can do this type of transaction in every state. I've seen it. Colorado, they don't have a statute. Maryland does it. Pennsylvania does it. We're doing it there. So how this works is the house is real property. Good thing about the house is real property. So say, for instance, how can I put this? A land trust is considered personal property, so it doesn't require you to have a tax ID. So the house goes into the trust, right? If you can just picture this, you have it here. The house, you buy the house, we're deeding it into the trust at that time when we buy it. When we buy the property, we're deeding it into the trust, and I'm going to go over to the docs and show you how we do that. But we deed the property into that trust when we purchase it, right? And then the beneficiary is the person that owns that trust Follow me now. Oh man, I'm losing you. I can see through this camera. I'm losing you. Let me rewind. Buy the house, goes into the trust. We don't own the house. We own the trust. I know that may take some time to sink in. When I first heard this, I'm like, man, I don't want no parts of this. I didn't want any parts of it. But now I'm like, why wouldn't I not do this? It's so crazy when a light bulb goes on in your head, as my inner circle members around the country, they're like, what crazy person, the Ron LeGrand would say, what idiot would own a property in his name or even in his business name, So the beneficiary owns the trust. The trust owns the real property. And this is personal property here. So you can sell it at any time without even having to go down to the courthouse. I love it. Man, it just gives me chills when I think about doing this stuff. When I'm doing deals and going to get permits and dealing with the city, they're like, who's the owner? I'm like, man, I think it's a trust. You don't even have to tell the city you own it. It's so cool. That way, let me just paint this picture. When you own a property in a trust, the city, if you have a code violation, and when those code violations come out, it could be something small, right? But if you get several of them, you're going to get on somebody's radar. And if you own several properties in your name or in your company name, could it be possible? Could it be in the realm of possibility that a city inspector or a code inspector might get to know your name? However, if you have each property in different trusts, it will be impossible for them to know that you own them all. All right. So just a food for thought. Just food for thought roundup for you. All right. So the beneficiary owns the trust, and the trustee works for the beneficiary. Rounduppers. The trustee works. So the trustee is, I like to say, the trustee is the employee, and they get compensated for their labor, for their efforts, right? So the house goes into the trust. You being the beneficiary own the trust. You hire the trustee to sign on the documents, and then it's over. Piece of cake. It's over. That, in a nutshell, is how land trusts work. So once I'm trying to beat this point in, if you don't own the house, how can judgments get attached to you? How can claims come after you? And you have privacy, right? If you don't own the house, people are like, do you own that house? No, not me. I don't own that one. And then in actuality, you're not lying. You're not lying, yo. You do not own the house. You just control it. You control that property because the trustee is going to do anything, whatever it is you ask them to do, right? The trustee works for you with zero liability against that property and against that trust. All right. And once again, this is not going to sink in the first time you get it. My Roundup family, Rounduppers, this is not going to sink in. So don't beat yourself up. So for my rental portfolio, right? Every house, just imagine, boom, every house, boom, 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 has a different trust. Every house has a different trust. None of them have the same names. And I even have several different trustees so that the trustee's name doesn't go on title. My same trustee doesn't go on title for each one of them. I just don't want to have too much uniformity, if you will, right? So see how we got here. I hope you guys got this. This is the circle here. You got to understand this little circle here. House going to trust for the beneficiary. Trustee signs on everything. And the trustee does. He's the man. I like to say he's the man out in the front taking all the bullets. Roundup, if you're just joining us, make sure you get your questions over there in the chat box. I will go down and answer every question today because it's just you and me. There's two people in this room right now. You and I. Forget everybody watching around. We got over 100 people here watching right now. Roundup, it's just you and I. Don't be scared to put your questions in there. There's no dumb questions. If you don't, for me, I wish I had. My goal is to be what I want to see in the community. I want to be that, right? So I wish there was some type of land trust training like this. I had to go hire attorneys. How many attorneys did I take to lunch? Meeting new attorneys. Some don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Some have a limited understanding of trusts. I took all the pieces that I learned from all these different guys and finally put it all together and kind of boiled it all down for you. All right. So you got how it works. Let's get to some documents. And don't forget, this is for training purposes only, my Rounduppers. Let's do this. So go ahead and download your doc packet. and then we will go from there. So I'm going to cover today your land trust agreement. I'm going to cover what your deed looks like, your warranty deed, my deed to trustee, your successor trustee. What happens if your trustee goes rogue and you got to kick him out, right? Because sometimes some people might be thinking, well, what if my trustee wants to sell the house from up under me? Well, we need to get rid of him, right? So there's a successor trustee document where we hire a new trustee. And then I'm going to give you the assignment of beneficial interest. Sometimes you have a house, right? So for instance, when we did a lot of bank REOs, we would get the house under contract, but you couldn't assign that contract. So we would have to assign the beneficial interest, right? We'd have to assign a beneficial interest. In doing that, the property still stayed in the trust. So let's say 123 Trust was buying a bank REO. We would sell. I'm going to show you how to sell this beneficial interest to somebody else, right? Really cool. And the good thing about it is you're selling personal property and not real property. It's cool. Okay, pull out your documents. We will start with the land trust agreement. Start with the land trust agreement. Go ahead and pull that out, round up, and we will rock and roll. Get your questions answered. Make sure you download today only until midnight tonight. You can get my land trust document packet. There we go. We're looking good here. Now I'm going to share my screen for you. Do this. Let me do that. Boom. How do we share the screen? Please get your questions in, round-uppers. My land trust document packet is in the link below. 50% off today only. Today only. Okay, let's do this. Here's your land trust agreement. Your land trust agreement, y'all. And don't forget, if you live in the state, it might be the grantor of revocable trust. I don't know where you live, so you might have to do a little change. Maybe you know what I might do? Maybe I will go ahead and create one over. I'll create one, not now, and y'all don't be emailing me a million emails. We'll change the title to another name to the grantor of revocable trust in the near future. Just keep this link. Keep the link so you can download them. You can download these docs at a later time. All right. So here's our trust agreement. Pull out your land trust there, y'all. My Roundup family. And let's go. Okay. Land trust agreement. Pathetically simple. Just remember that it is nothing but black ink on white paper, okay? Black ink on white paper. Land trust agreement there. Okay. So this is the document. Let me show you since you can see me. This is the doc here that we're going to create as we're going to closing that the house is going to go in. This is the document that you're going to give your title company or attorney, or you have the option of paying the attorney to draft it up for you. I don't know why you would pay $1,000 to do that, but you can. So we have a land trust document for you because I felt like, why would you pay an attorney every time you bought a house when you can just print it out and do it yourself? All right. So this is the document that you're going to use, deeding the property putting it into the trust. All right. This is going to outline everything that the trust owns and who are the beneficiaries and the trustee. Let's do this. Land trust agreement. How many pages? 9 pages, I think. Okay. You or your company name, I don't know. You have to make that decision. Now, don't forget, this is not for asset protection. I'm not teaching you that for this. You have to go to an attorney for that. This is for anonymity. I want people to have a conversation with their checkbook if they want to come after you for some foolishness, right? I want people to have a conversation with their checkbook because if they say, well, Chris Haskins, let's pull him up. What does he own? Nothing. So you got to start spending some money. And if someone is coming after you and it's hard for them to find what you own, an attorney's going to second guess taking that case for free. They're going to want the client to put up some money. They're going to want that client to put up some money, right? So all we want, this is just creates a barrier. This is not full. This is the first line of defense. This is not full asset protection. I'm not teaching that. This is the first line you put in place so people will have to have a conversation with their checkbook. Okay, you or your company name as grantors, beneficiary. So we use our LLC and LLC for our beneficiaries. Remember, the beneficiary is the one that benefits, controls this whole deal. Hereinafter collectively referred to as the beneficiary, whether one or more, which designation shall include all successors in interest of any beneficiary. And your trustee. Remember, I told you, it better be somebody you trust, round-uppers. Oh, my Lord. Don't be calling me up. My trustee sold my house. I don't want to hear that. I can't help you with that. I've given you the disclaimer. As trustee whose address is blank, you put your trustee's address there. Or if you feel crazy with that, you put a P.O. box. Hereinafter, trustees shall include all successor trustees. Declaration of trust. The trust created by the grantors herein shall be known as the street number trust. Now, please keep in mind that we used to name the trust, the name of the trust. We used to name the trust the street address, right? 123 Main Street Trust. Now, round-uppers, I'm just naming it 123 Trust. Like if you notice, go a few videos back, we just sold a house from the 2617 Trust. What is that? Somebody do a title search. They'd be like, what is the 267 Trust? Is it a revocable trust? Is it a living trust? Is it an irrevocable trust? Is it a family trust? Is it a partnership? I mean, what in the world? So I'm telling you what I'm doing now. I'm naming a number, just a house number trust. Hereinafter referred to as the trust, all right? I'm just going to highlight the parts that you need to be aware of, generally speaking, but you can read this thing. I never have even read the whole thing, I don't think. Purpose of the trust. The purpose of this trust shall be to hold title to the trust property and to protect and conserve it until its sale or other disposition or liquidation. Remember, we said the only thing a trust does, round-uppers, is hold title to a piece of real property. If you can get that through your head, you're doing good. You're doing something. All a land trust does is take title to a piece of property. All right, let's roll. Keep going down. Scroll on down. Number 5, duties and interests of the beneficiaries. The persons named in the attached Exhibit B, and we will get to that, are the beneficiaries of this trust. And it should be your LLC. Now, you can always put you and your wife or your spouse or whatever, but we use our LLC. And as such shall be entitled to all earnings. So the beneficiaries get what? Rent, all income, down payment. When you sell it, you're going to get all the money. Okay. Let me scroll down here. They have the right to direct the trustee to convey or otherwise deal with the title to the trust property hereinafter set out. So we direct the trustee, roundup. The beneficiary directs the trustee to do all the work. Or whatever work you want them to do. I don't know. It's up to you. Which I'm going to give you a snapshot of our trusts. Usually, my trustee, he deals with all the interfacing with the city, and he deals with all of closing stuff. A lot of other stuff I can deal with, whether it's a flip or a hold. B, the beneficiaries have the right to participate in the management and control the trust property. C, they have the right to receive the proceeds and avails from the rental, sale, mortgage, or other disposition of the property. We kind of already went over that. So you got to know that, roundup. You got to know that. So your beneficiary is the one, just remember in your mind, the beneficiary is the one that benefits. All right, let's scroll on down to number 6. Number 6, powers and duties of trustee. The trustee shall not record this agreement or name of any of the beneficiaries in any place of public record. I don't want people knowing who owns the trust. I don't want people, all you need to know is who the trustee is. Scroll down here, unless ordered by the court. Now, once again, this is not asset protection. This is just the first line of defense. So yes, they can pierce a land trust, but they're going to have to do what? Spend some money, right? That's all we want people to do. Most lawsuits that, from my experience, they will get them started. Oh man, I just had one too. I built a house recently, y'all. Oh, my round-uppers. I built a house. Some problems with the construction. Usually what happens when there's some problems with the construction, if you just a newly fresh, new constructed house, the new buyer came after the builder. They did not come after us. They didn't even send us a letter. I can't say this for sure, but when an attorney looks to see that a trust owned the house, what are they going to do? Send a letter to the trust? I mean, usually most attorneys be like, man, I don't even know. You don't even know who owns this property, who used to own it, right? You're going to send a letter to the trust. The trust is dead once you sell that house. A, the trustee can mortgage the whole or any part of the property. The trustee can borrow money Give notes, therefore, signed. Oh, man, that trustee has some power. Roundup. You better know who you're dealing with on these trustees, my Roundup fam. C, the trustee shall have the following powers with the consent of the beneficiaries. So it's fiduciary duty to do what we want, right? It's supposed to be. To purchase any real property for the trust, they are the ones signing when we buy the property. 2, to sell at public auction or private sale, to barter or to exchange or dispose of otherwise. So you got to keep that in mind. Roundup, you've been warned. You better know who you're dealing with on a trustee. Number 3, they can also rent or lease the whole or any part of the trust property for short or long term. So your trustee has some real power there, y'all. Did I highlight anything else there? Okay, we'll come out of that. So make sure you got your docs, you're able to follow along with me. Let's keep going here. Here we go. Number seven, compensation of the, can y'all? Y'all can't see this, right? You can see this? Just give me a thumbs up. Make sure y'all can see this land trust. Number 7, compensation of the trustee. The beneficiaries jointly and severally agree that the trustee shall receive a sum of $100. We pay our trustee $100, one-time fee for his or her services as trustee here under. So when they go to closing, like today, I've got a line item on the HUD. He'll get his check for $100. Liability of trustee. All obligations incurred by the trustee hereunder shall be the obligations of the trust only and not the individual trustee. The trustee shall not be required to enter into any personal obligations or liability in dealing with the trust property. So the trustee has no liability when it comes to this trust. They can go out there and get into a car accident, get $1 million judgment against them. It does not attach to this trust. Thank goodness. You can fire them, hire a new trustee, right? Number 9, removal of trustees. The beneficiaries shall have the power to remove a trustee from his or her office or appoint a successor trustee to succeed him or her at any time. And I'm going to give you the successor trustee document. Number 10, resignation. A trustee may resign his or her office within 30 days written notice to the beneficiaries. Sometimes, these relationships don't necessarily have to be lifelong. If the trustee, hey, Chris, I don't want to do this anymore. Kind of want to move on. Not that they're doing a lot, but they can send in a document or they can just write it up and it's over. They don't have to deal with it anymore. Sometimes people just, I'm not saying that all end of business relationships are bad, just different time in people's lives, different time in people's lives. Okay, next is number 14. Assignment. The interest of a beneficiary or any part of that interest may be transferred only by written agreement. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. I'm going to show you the written agreement that we have for the assignment of the beneficial interest. That's where we get rid of the trust. We sell it and we get paid on that. 15, individual liability of trustee. I think we covered that, but here it is again. The trustee shall have no individual liability or obligation whatsoever arising from his ownership as trustee of the legal title to this trust property. All right, so that spells it out right there. Your trustee has no liability, y'all. Round up, your trustee has no liability. All right, here we are. What page is this? Page number 7. Scroll down to page 7. Page 7. This is your signature page, is what we call it. Your signature page. And this is where your trustee will sign as well as the beneficiaries and it is notarized, round-uppers. It is notarized. Before me personally appeared blank, the beneficiary will be you, and blank, the trustee will be, let me tell you about the trustees we use. I have several, right? Some of my trustees live out of state. I would recommend, I recommend you have your trustee out of state if you can. If you can have your trustee out of state, is great because it costs more to serve somebody in another state, right? But if you don't have that option, the next option is somebody with a different last name. Johnny Johnny Train is the trustee for the 145 Trust. My LLC is the trustee. They have no relation. I don't want Billy Haskins to be a trustee because he goes on title. The trustee will go on title, right? So somebody might say, I wonder if that Billy Haskins is related to Chris Haskins, the guy we're suing. They might go sniffing around, right? So I want your trustee to at least have a different last name. I don't want you to be related to them unless they have a different last name, right? Exhibit A, the property, then you're going to type in your property address here. Man, this is good stuff. And then just put the legal description. Very simple. This is page 8. So you got your Exhibit A. Then Exhibit B, we're going to spell out the beneficiaries. So it's going to be you or your company name. And I have had beneficiaries. I've done deals with 5 beneficiaries because we do a lot of deals in our IRA. So the IRA would be a beneficiary. Sometimes I'll do a deal with my kids' college account will be another beneficiary. So it can get real, real sticky back here. You can have, I don't know. You can have a church as the beneficiary. I mean, it could be so many people or even an entity, right? So you or your company name. So yes, we got that. Round up. We got over so far we've gone over the trust agreement. That's the house goes into the trust. Remember, we don't own the house in our name. We don't even own the house, period. The trust owns the house. Round up, if you're just joining us, this is the Land Trust Masterclass. Download your 50% off Land Trust document packet below. All right, our next document is going to be the warranty deed to trustee. This is just, this is so simple stuff here. Oops, sorry about that. Round uppers, put your questions. Don't forget, get your questions answered over there. I'm gonna go over Q&A. You know, my favorite part of the day is Q&A. My favorite part of the day is Q&A. Warranty deed to trustee. This is, I'm not gonna say I necessarily recommend you to use it. You can, but I want you just to get your attorney or your title company to do the deed, and then you just go have them record it. Just pay them to do it. But if you want to do it, here's your warranty deed to trustee, right? It's so simple. It's 2 pages, right? 2 pages. This is the problem with using these, even for me. It is infinitely harder to transfer a house out of your name into a trust, to a house that you already own, out of your name into a trust, than it is just to go ahead and put it in a trust when you first buy it. Let me repeat that. It is infinitely harder. I'm telling you, I live it because I have one more now that I have not put in a trust. Now y'all have heard me say this over the years. I've got one house. I don't know. I haven't taken the time to take it out of my name. I bought it so many years ago. I've done every one of them but this one. It is infinitely harder to transfer a house that you already own into a trust than to just go ahead and put it in a trust when you first buy it. It's so much easier. Okay, so here's the warranty deed to trustee. This is where we're going to transfer it from our name into a trust. This deed is good. Consideration made this blank day of blank between blank. Here, I have to call the grantors. That's going to be you. You are deeding it into the trust. Here and after call the grantors and blank. Here and after call the trustee. You are deeding it to the trustee on behalf of the trust. I'm going to repeat that. You're deeding the property to the trustee. Boom. On behalf of, boom, this trust. Simple. And that trust owns what? The house. Oh, man. That's it for that. It's pathetically simple. You're going to type in the address there. I'm sorry, legal description, address there. Notary down here. And it's over. It's over. How simple is that? Round up. It's just simple. So now once you do that, the property is in a trust. You got the name of the trust there, and it's over. It's over. Remember, we want the land trust to be the owner, not us. The land trust to be the owner, so nobody can come after you. Oh man, I see some Q&A. Yes, get your Q&A in here, Roundup. This is my favorite part of the day. Q&A, my favorite part. All right, next document is going to be, let's say you want to assign your interest. You're going to assign your interest to the land trust to somebody else, right? Because you might want to sell. Oops. You might want to sell that trust to somebody else. Where is it at? appointments. Okay, here we go. So this document here is where we want to actually sell. Say, for instance, if you got somebody who wants to buy a house, you can leave that property in the trust and sell that trust, right? You're going to sign the beneficial interest over because we're selling the trust, not the house. This so happens that the house is in the trust. Oh, man. Roundup, don't get mad if you're not getting this stuff. What is all this craziness? Subject to lease options, owner financing, land contract, contract for deed, subordination. I mean, so much stuff. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. You will get it. It will take time. So this is the document we use when we want to sell our beneficial interest. And standard, you know, all my stuff. Everything we use is standard. Standard lease, standard assignment, standard note, standard promissory note, standard deed of trust, everything. Everything we use is standard. Why is that? Because when people ask you, Chris, what is this crazy stuff you're doing? Well, I don't know. That's standard. That's standard. Okay. That's worth $2 right there. That's worth the free class. This addendum made on blank for blank of the real estate sale of, that's the house, whatever the house is that we're selling. Legal description, you got that too. Between blank, that's going to be you, your trust, and that your trust is the assignor, and blank the assignee. All right, this is your assignment of beneficial interest. This is how we transfer beneficial interest to a trust. All right, simple stuff here, round-uppers. The assignor agrees to assign his right and beneficial interest to purchase the attached contract to assignor for a fee of $5,000 as follows. Assignee agrees to pay $5,500 or and or before blank. Assignee shall close the original contract. This is when we're wholesaling contracts, right? So you don't want to. Let me tell you why you want to. I know some wholesalers, even my clients, they're like, why can't I? If you're just wholesaling, right? If you're just wholesaling, why should you use a land trust? A lot of my clients are like, Chris, I'm just going to be wholesaling it. Why would I care about putting this in a trust or I just use my LLC? I'm like, okay. I got a client, reached out to me, got a property under contract. He's a wholesaler. Couldn't find an end buyer, right? Couldn't find an end buyer. What's going to happen? Oh, I'm telling you what happened to him, right? The seller says, you know what? You done tied my house up all this time. I'm going to come after you. Your company name is right on this contract. Your company name's on the contract, round-uppers, or your name. So even if you are just wholesaling, you still use a land trust. Still use a land trust, because what if you can't find a buyer? They're going to come after you, and hopefully you have your out clauses in there. But who wants to depend on that stuff? You don't know if you're buying a house from an attorney. You don't know how sharp this attorney is. So if you put it in a trust and you can't find a buyer, all my wholesalers out there, let them sue the trust. Let them come after the trust. What happens is people will sue you for specific performance. They will sue you for specific performance. You tied up my house, you so-and-so, and you didn't buy it 30 days later and you didn't close. Some sellers might get pissed. Some sellers might really get upset. So just put it in a trust, my wholesaler roundup family. Put that house in a trust. That way you don't have to worry about it. They'll come, you know what, Miss Smith, I wasn't able to buy your house. Sue me. So that way they'll sue the trust and not you or your company, right? But usually that doesn't happen. But I live in a world where Murphy, I promise you, he was here at 2:00. I couldn't get the thing to work. So I don't even want you to put houses in your business or your name, even if you're just wholesaling. Just come with me on this one, y'all. Come with me. Don't challenge me on this one. Please. I don't think you are, but just come with me. Come with me. Okay, now what if we want to get rid of that old shady trustee? We got a trustee that went rogue. Right? He's trying to go sell our house without us knowing. Oh, and Jesus, I hope that doesn't happen to you. And if you can't find a trustee that you trust, we will be a trustee. I charge $200. But let me encourage you with something further. I want you to have some better friends and associates. For me, the people that I deal with, they have no problem signing. And if something pops up, they'll take care of it. They might even pay for it, and I will reimburse them. So I want you to have some good quality people in your life that have integrity, empathy, and compassion. And they were going to do the right thing in honesty. If you don't have that in your inner circle, which I know a lot of people, man, I'm finding out a lot of people don't have people that they can trust. Appointment of land trust replacement trustee. The undersigned beneficiaries, that's going to be you and me, represent that they are all and 100% of the beneficiaries to that certain declaration of trust and land trust agreement. Boom, right here. Dated blank, and which is known as your trust name. The 1, 2. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll write this up here. This is going to be the 2, 7, 7 trust. The 277 trust, right? Round-uppers, just use a number. Don't make it difficult. Don't make it a name. Just make it a number, okay? Make it the house number. That way you can't forget it. And even if you do forget it, you go to your file, you'll see the address of the house. A land trust. And when you name it that, people that the creditors or some creditor or some insurance company, they don't even know what type of trust it is. Okay. They hereby replace current trustee and appoint new trustee whose address is blank to represent all their beneficial interests in said trust as their replacement trustee as fiduciary for said interest with the same powers, rights, interests regarding the trust property and subject to the same restrictions and duties of the original trustee. All right, I'm not going to read all this stuff here. Y'all can read, put me to sleep. This stuff puts me to sleep. So this is what you're going to use to fire that rogue trustee. It's simple. Trustee trying to sell your house, replace them because they don't have a copy of the trust. If they try to go down there and sell your property, they go to the title. They go to the title company. They don't have the copy of the trust, right? They may try to forge one, which they could. So get somebody you trust. That's all I can say. All right, get a trustee that you can trust. All right. My last thing I'm sharing with you, roundup. Then we're going to get to my favorite part is Q&A. What does the deed look like? What does the deed look like, rounduppers, when you actually close on it? So what we do now, we put the trust, we put it in and we put the house in the trust, right when we buy it. Okay. How do I make this thing bigger? Stupid thing. Do that. Sorry, y'all. Let me do this thing here. Oh, here we go. Let me make it bigger. So my homies that are on the phone. Oop, that's too big. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen. Now, this is a sample deed. If you go to your land trust, if you've downloaded your documents, go to your land trust deed. Your land trust document packet. This is called the sample copy of sample deed. Sample deed. All right, let's do it. So this is what the deeds look like. This deed of bargain and sale made the 25th day of September by and between Cynthia Cundiff, hereinafter recalled grantor, and Todd Smith, trustee of the Oak Drive Trust, hereinafter grantee, whose mailing address is blank right there. Okay, so this one here, we used it. That was one of my trustees for that deal there. That's if you look here, it's nothing but the legal description. This is just a deed roundup, and you can see at the end, they sign it, they notarize it, and it's over. Now the property is in your land trust. That's it. Then it's over, roundup. Over. Properties in your trust, you are completely anonymous. When someone goes to look at that deed, do they have any idea that Chris Haskins is a part of that? How can they have? It would be impossible. They would have to be psychic to know that I'm a part of that. That's why I love dealing with land trusts, or I don't know where you are, grantor, revocable trust, grantor, living trust, whatever you want to call it. Let's just call them trust for today. All right. I've been babbling my mouth up here for almost an hour. Round up. Let's get to some of the Q&A here. I'm excited to be able to share this stuff with you. Where else are you going to learn this crazy stuff? Where else? I want to be what I want to see in the community. I want to be the person that's showing this stuff. All right. Get your questions in the chat box over there. Download your land trust document packet now because the 50% discount will end tonight. Ultimate Bargains, you are a beast. I hope I better see you in Vegas. Will you talk about vetting companies or attorneys to act as the trustee? Ultimate Bargains, I have yet to have an attorney agree to be my trustee. I have yet to do it. I don't have any. I use personal relationships. I literally have trustees around the country in other states, some local. So But none of them have anything to do with me. I mean, they're just arm's length relationships. Ultimate bargains. Ultimate bargains. Oh yeah, ultimate bargains. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up, please. Smash that thumbs up, please. I do show up, Silver. I ain't gonna leave you hanging. I don't do that. Hey, Tracy, what's going on? Please put your state in or your city so I know where my roundup homies are coming from. Tammy, Charlotte, North Carolina. All your states. Oh, okay, yes. I have prepared for you. That's what we do. Yeah, Shay, I wish I could tell you. As I'm up at 5 o'clock this morning, nonstop, I meet with my accountant as I'm paying tens of thousands of dollars to my accountant. I wish I had another. Oh my God, I wish I could give it to somebody else. I met with my accountant this morning and I'm rushing home to teach the class. It's always something to do here, Shay. Kimbella, I emailed you that, so you're good to go. Silver, yes, thank you. Gotcha, I got you straight. That real estate investor, when you have fired the trustee, how do you sell the property if they no longer work for you? We have something called the successor trustee document, and we just went over that. It's called the successor trustee. Jay Marcelin, what's included in the land trust? You get my sample deed, the trust agreement, which is here, the successor trustee document, the assignment of beneficial interest document, and appointment assessor. What's the other one? Standard. Oops, I messed that all up. All right, you got it. Yep, that's it. That real estate, where you at? Oh, KC, Kansas City. How did you get the new trustee on title if you had fired the old one if you did not put a successor trustee in place? Two ways. You can go record, you can do something called, man, what do you call it? A deed. It's a new deed. The first way, man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, deed of correction. Deed of correction, that real estate investor from KC. You can file a deed of correction with the new trustee. You can do, or you can just, as before you go to closing, say for instance, you have to go sell the property. They'll just do a new deed right before they sell it. So you have two deeds back to back. No big deal. And it's over. Don't overthink, don't overthink this stuff. Roundupers, don't overthink it. KJ, do I need to use a trust for wholesaling or LLCs sufficient for this? KC, I hope you were watching earlier. I'm sorry, KJ, I do not want some seller to say that daggone, if you're wholesaling and you can't find a buyer, I promise you, I've seen it. Okay, I wish I had a camera that could just follow me around all day and record this stuff. I got a client, had a seller. Guy calls me up, Chris, seller's coming after me. They're going to sue me because I didn't close on it. Couldn't find a buyer. It was an attorney, I believe, or yeah, I think the seller was an attorney. And you know, attorneys, they don't like wholesalers. Well, I don't want to say they don't like them, but they prefer not to have that middleman, right? KJ. So if you have the contract in your LLC's name or your name, KJ, if you don't close on it, or if you since you're just wholesaling it, if you can't find a buyer, might it be in the possibility that the seller will come after you because you didn't find that buyer and sue you for specific performance? Is that possible? I think so. So KJ, what can you do to circumvent that? Just use a land trust, whether you're wholesaling or not. Let me go ahead and look at, let's pull it up. Specific performance. A legal action in which specific performance, we just talked about that. Legal action in which the court requires a party to a contract to perform the terms of said contract when he has refused to fulfill his obligation. Used in real estate. Let me repeat that. Specific performance. A legal action. I'm coming after you, KJ, if I'm the seller. In which the court requires a party to a contract to perform the legal terms of the said contract when he has refused to fulfill his obligations. KJ, if you can't find a buyer and you don't close on it, basically by default, you've refused to fulfill your obligation. Hence, somebody could come after you for specific performance. My brother, KJ, I'm not going to beg you anymore. I'm done with it. If you're wholesaling, you better be using land trust, but I can't make you do it. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. If you're a man, you probably have testosterone and you don't want to do it. I'm cool with that. Took me 3 years, so I won't be mad at you. Sierra Luxury. I'm in Maryland. Fine. Just got my docs as we speak. I want to put my rental properties in a revocable trust. Praise God. Praise the Lord, as they used to say in The Simpsons. Does this mean I should not manage the properties myself? No, you can still manage them. I do. Our residents and tenant buyers go right to the bank and do direct deposit. Well, now we get Cash App or whatever. They just put it right in there. It's irrelevant. That real estate investor, when you do a P&S purchase and sale agreement with a trust, can you sign as the trustee and change trustee by contacting the title company to change your original trustee? Let me repeat this. It's a great question. Wow, you guys got some good ones today. When you do a purchase and sale agreement of which your trust will be the buyer, I'm glad you're following me on that. Can you sign as trustee and then change that trustee by contacting the title company to change to your original trustee? You can change anything you want. You can change the beneficiary, the trustee at any time. But I would recommend you to change it at closing or before closing. It's just easier. It's easier, less red tape. But you don't want to sign it. Just put their name on there and have them sign it. Have your trustee sign it. You better not be your own trustee. I don't want you to be the trustee. Taylor, how much does it cost to create a trust? It all depends on who you ask. If you ask Chris Haskins, today it's going to cost you half price of whatever my doc packet is. If you go to attorney, it's probably going to be $750 each time. Mine, you can reuse. After today, if you ask me, it's going to be full price. So I think it's $300. That's an easy one. Danny, can a trust hide property from a spouse? Unfortunately, yes and no. Danny, I'm going to get you when you asking me this. Danny, you messing with me? I know you. Danny, hide property. Don't forget, this land trust is a pass-through entity. So it's going to pass down to your what? Social security number, which will pass down to your tax returns. Danny. So if you don't want to put it on your tax returns, yes, you can hide it from your spouse. But if that's on your mind, I think you got bigger problems than hiding a piece of real estate from your spouse. To be frank, I think you got bigger problems than this. If this is a question, but yeah, if you're not passing it down to your tax returns, because your accountant is going to see it. We depreciate our real estate. Just because it's in a land trust doesn't mean you don't depreciate it. And you have to take all the stuff it all goes on your Schedule E on your tax return. So the IRS knows what you own. Jay Marcellin, what are the tax benefits of a land trust? None. There are no tax benefits for a trust. It all flows through to the beneficiary. All flows through to the beneficiary. JM, you guys put your state in here. I want to know where you guys are from. Paige, I like that name. Just logged on. Should we hire an attorney to be your trustee? I haven't been able to do that. All the attorneys that I know, they don't want to be liable for signing any docs, especially if they're doing the closing. But you could. I just use the business associates. Barnhill, hey, what's up? People that also key in some of the good. That's right. Barnhill knows all about. Troy, hey, Troy, can you use the trust to wholesale? Yes, we went over that one already. Matter of fact, I highly encourage you, brother Troy, or lease option subject to. Let me tell you how we do this. Let me show you my favorite way to do real estate, right? Troy, we buy subject to. Number one, buy subject to. Into the land trust, sell, lease, option. Okay, Troy, we buy subject to. We deed it into the land trust when we buy it, deed it into the land trust. Why wouldn't you put it in the land trust, brother Troy, if you're buying subject to? You don't have a lender there that's telling you have to put it in your name. Let me repeat that. When you buy subject to, there is no lender involved. There is no lender qualifying. We're taking over the seller's debt. They don't care. No one. This is the best time to put it in the land trust because you don't have a stinking bankster. I still love my banksters. I love them. Matter of fact, I talked to one last night. He always gives me a hard time. Buy the house subject to, put it in the land trust right when you buy it. Then you sell it on a lease option, right? And that lease option the lease can be in your company name or your trust. I don't care about that. But yes, buy in the trust. Barnhill, that's all soaked up. Someone give from land trust to give some a bunch of headache down the line. What up, Barnhill? This is good info on land trust. They can save you a bunch of headache. That's true. Tony, not boring. Good for you. I didn't think it was boring. Legal information is not legal advice. Paige in Seattle, market is really high. I know this. I have a mentor out there. Affordable housing is $300,000. Good God Almighty. What is the best method for a beginner to get started? Wholesaler foreclosures. Well, this class today wasn't about that, but wholesaling is always. Listen, here's my motto: if you don't know how to make money without money, you will not know how to make money with money. What does that mean? Wholesaling allows you to understand the market. If somebody's going to buy a deal from you, means you have developed the skill to buy at a discount, which means you can buy for yourself, right? So wholesaling will be first. I don't want you out there buying houses and doing repairs. Good God. Robert, hey, don't we call them grantor revocable trust now? Yes, you can. You can, depending on where you, I don't know where you are. Legal title to the trustee and equitable title to the beneficiary. I like that. Beneficiary pays taxes. That is true. I pay taxes on all my houses. Trustee is the registered LLC. Could be. Land trust is really revocable living grantor trust. Yes. You're right, my brother. BX, you got some stuff. I'm scared. You got some knowledge on that. No, could be. KJ, do my trust documents work in every state? Do I include all directions needed? This video is the directions. I'm not an attorney, so do they work in every state? I haven't tried them in every state. I've tried them in a bunch, but you may have to alter them based on your state. I mean, you have the document, but your attorney or title company will tell you what to change. It's real simple. Also, can they be used and filed in other states when you're not present for signings? Absolutely. I'm not present for my signings. Only the trustee has to be present, KJ. Jay Marsland. Sorry about that. Good questions here today. This is my favorite part. I could do this all day. Honestly, I'm from Boston, and it's expensive as well. I think the best way to go about it to do it in a cheaper neighborhood. Oh, I don't know what that is. Brother, do all homes have trusts? They better. Every home gets its own trust. Each one of my rental properties has its own land trust. Round up, put your questions in the Q&A over there so we can get them answered right now. And don't forget, you can get my land trust document packet for half off until midnight tonight. The link to invest in that is in the video description below, round-uppers. Does revocable grantor trust, land trust offer asset protection? It does not. The trust only offers you anonymity, privacy. If not, what do you put in place for asset protection? That's going to be, the asset protection starts here, BX. BX, you always got some stuff with you. Asset protection starts here. The beneficiary can be a limited partnership, can be a family partnership. It could be an LLC. It could be an INC. It could be a living trust, irrevocable trust. I mean, it could be so much, but the asset protection starts here. The land trust is just the first line of defense. So when that creditor and predator comes after you, if they get through the land trust, then they got to get through all this crap you got down here too, right? So that's where the asset protection comes in, which I do not teach. Matter of fact, if y'all want a class, let me know. Would you like me to hire somebody to come in and do an asset protection class? I think that would be good. I would have to pay them, but I think that'll be a good class. BX, you got some stuff. You sound like you might be in Vegas too. There you go, Ultimate Bargains. Put your LLC as beneficiary. I would. I mean, I do. That's what I do. Linda, who signs the purchase agreement since you don't want your name out there? Excellent question. Your trustee always signs the purchase and sale agreement. Oh, shoot. Linda, your trustee goes and signs the purchase and sale agreement. All right. You can have them say you want to mail it out. Anyway, your trustee signs it. Taylor, for investing purposes, should we have our lawyer be the trustee? You can. It's all up to you. Maria, great info. Praise God. Thank you. Thank you. You made me smile. Thank you so much. Robert, can anyone trustee? Oh, you talking? You guys are talking amongst each other. Christian, hey Christian, that's a nice picture you got. If I acquire a house via contract for deed, owner financing. I don't know about that. That's not owner financing, but I'll go with you. Since I don't own the house yet, can I use a land trust to take title? Yes. Why can't I do this for a lease option if I still don't own the house yet? Christian, first of all, where are you? It's a good question. Contract for deed. Don't forget, contract for deed means you have a purchase and sale contract that hasn't been executed yet, Christian. So they are holding this contract until you fulfill whatever obligation you had, and then you'll get the deed. So I want your trust as the buyer on that contract, Christian. All right. Yes, you're not. Can I use the land trust to take title? You're not. See, owner finance, Christian. I'm confused. Contract for deed is not owner financing. You don't have the deed. So I need you to explain a little bit more on that. I'm confused on that. I truly appreciate Christina. Thank you. Thank you. You appreciate your boy. I'm working. I live for this. I wish you could have been with me today. I'm up 5 o'clock hanging out with my accountant today. Ugh. Oh, yeah. Round up. You better have your W-2s. Your W-9s in by this time next week. You got 1 week. You better get those 1099s out. You got to get them out by the 30th. That's right. You got here BX. If you put an LLC as beneficiary, which you should, you will pay taxes as corporate partnership. No, that's not necessarily true. Some LLCs are passed through also. So I'm not quite sure what your structure is for your LLC. Shay, hey, can I explain the paperwork process of selling a house from a trust? It's no different. No different. Just like you're selling it from a person or from an LLC. Your trustee is going to come in. The attorney or title company is going to say, can I see your trust agreement so I can verify you own this house? Show it to them. They'll create a HUD. You know what? I got one today. I'll show you. We got one we're closing right now. I'm going to show you what the HUD looks like. Oh, you guys are see, I'm working for you. Let me see if I can show my screen that just came in here. Hold on, y'all. You guys are in such a treat. Nothing's different. Nothing is different, Roundup. I think you guys are overcomplicating this. So here's the HUD. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. Okay. You ask, how do you sell a house from a trust? I'm going to show you. This is exactly what the HUD looks like. Nothing different. Oops. You're in for such a treat. Your boy's working today. Y'all got me working big time. So let me take his name off this thing. Nah, I don't want to do this. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to waste your time on that one. It's no different. I don't want to put my trustees. I got to stop showing y'all my trustee. I'll blink it out. Matter of fact, maybe tonight I'll show you how you sell a house from a trust. Shay, let me make a note of that. How do you sell a house from a trust? That is a good question, Shay. If you tune back in, I'll do a video on that. But I got to stop putting. I'm so transparent. I'm shooting myself in the foot. Videos. How do you sell a house from a trust? I'm just typing down some notes. How to sell a house from a trust. Show the HUD. Shay, don't be mad at me because I'm how to sell a house from a trust. Show the HUD. Shay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another video for you on that, showing you the HUD. You can see exactly how it goes. It's no different. No different. Red Sox fan. Oh, you were giving me a hard time the other day with Ron. Richard, do I use, is that brown Jesus or white Jesus? Do you use the trust for insurance on the house or the beneficiary's name? What I do is both. So I have the insurance in my name and I have the trust as additional insured. And it can get real tricky because some of my houses are owned by the trust. The beneficiary is my IRA, right? So you gotta have this stuff. You don't want to do anything that the insurance company is gonna say, yeah, claim is denied. Daughter of the creator. I like that name. Boston, what up? Please clarify how claims cannot be made against revocable trust. An attorney said claims can be made in that case. Irrevocable trust, on the other hand, are protected. Irrevocable. So claims, they have to first find out you own it, daughter. They have to find out you own it. And don't forget, I'm not an attorney. If they have a bad attorney, they're going to find everything you own. But in order for them to find out what you own, to put a claim against you, they have to do some research. How are they going to find you? First of all, they got to find you own 123 or 227 trust. Who knows you own it? So I'm not saying that it's claim proof. I'm saying they can't find it. Got me? Brother, don't you have to pay off the mortgage before you get the deed? Oh my Lord goodness, brother. Somebody had to come. Y'all want to help my round uppers? I'm going to get somebody to help you with that one. You do not. See, brother, I think you're confusing mortgages with home ownership. Mortgages, home ownership, they don't go together. Money and houses, they don't go together. We have put them together, brother. So you can sell your house without paying off the mortgage, but I'm not going to get into that today. This is for talking about trusts. You do not have to pay the mortgage off to sell a house. D. Howard, if I hire a new trustee, does that assignment need to be recorded? Because when I recorded the original docs, I did a memorandum of trust with original trustee name on it. Well, if you put a new trustee, I would want you to do a deed of correction, just layering it there with the new trustee. If it's a long-term hold, D. Howard. But that is a concern, though. Just do a new deed of correction. Your attorney can do that. Charles Barnhill, what's up, my brother? Brother Charles, let's say that the average person has gotten a loan for a house and they've got the house in their name. Is it possible to still put the house in a trust and bring it out of their name? Absolutely. Once you buy the property, you've got all your money, your loan, your deed of trust, your mortgage in place, Charles. Then you can take it and deed it over into your land trust. Absolutely. That's what I did. I've done it several times. Buy the house, get all that stuff put together. Oops, I'm sorry. Slide it over, put it in a trust. That's exactly what I did. Now, it took me 10 years to do it on a few, but I did. I still have one left to do. I don't know why I won't do it. I'm just lazy. Round up, get your questions in. Let's get this Q&A. It's my favorite part. I love Q&A. Does Dom Yank, does the trustee have to be in the same state as the property? No. Matter of fact, I would highly recommend you have your trustee in another state. I like that. That gives you another layer of protection. Right? Because it's so much harder to serve an out-of-state trustee. Meaning if a person has properties in multiple states, can one person still be the trustee? Absolutely. Doesn't matter. The trustee can be in Texas and the property be in Maine. Christina, what if the trustee passes away? What would be the next step? That way you just do your successor trustee document and do a corrective deed. But I promise you, Christina, you're going way outside of the realm. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. It could. You know what? We should probably plan for the worst, right? So just you'll do a new deed. I don't think it's a big deal. Right now, I have one of my trustees. We no longer even talk. I need to do a successor trustee on him. Matter of fact, I already did. Troy, does the trustee have to live in the same state? Oh no, we just went over that. They do not. We just went over that one. Kenny, you said number 8. Okay, Kenny, I might have updated these docs. Just go back to that link and get the updated version, my friend. It'll be there. Use a statutory Wyoming LLC. I don't know too much about that. Under the liability. Kenny, just go back to the link and upload the updated version, my friend. If you don't have it, just email me. Victor, I missed the first part. Just rewind it, my friend. Get your docs and rewind it. This video will be up at least until tonight. Richard, can my LLC be the trustee of my land trust? Absolutely. And I be the beneficiary and still be anonymous. You'll be quasi-anonymous because your LLC will be on the deed. Remember, the trustee goes on title. If I want to go to the state corporation commission, I can see, depending on what state you're in, I can see who is the registered agent for that LLC. So that is a way to do it. If you don't trust people, Rich, it sounds like you have a trust issue, not issue, but you have a trust concern. So yes, if your LLC is the trustee, you sign on behalf of the trustee and you sign on behalf of the beneficiary, which I'm not mad at that. Nelly, will this land trust apply to houses that I buy to give them some rehab and then resell them? Absolutely. Every house, roundup, I want to get it through your head. Every house, every contract we do is in the name of a trust. I don't care if you're wholesaling, rehabbing, buying whole. It starts out with a trust. Why? Because we can change the beneficiary at any time. And we want to be anonymous. Nelly, good question. Oh, another one. Nelly, what about using, Nelly, where you at? You didn't tell me where you're from. What about using the LLC for houses to rehab and then resell and use the land trust for houses that I will keep longer? I'm not going to advocate that, but you can do that. I pray you've been listening to me. I hope you do not put any house in your LLC. Why? Because it's so easy to just make your LLC the beneficiary of the land trust. That way your LLC is not on title. But you ain't going to do it. You ain't going to do it. It's going to take you about 2 years. Nelly, I'm giving you a hard time because it took me 3 years. 3 years to stop putting houses in my LLC. Finally, one day I said, you know what? This is what I will do. I will do this right now. After 3 years of, I can't tell you how many times I almost did it. I almost did it. Then finally I said, you know what? Let's just do this. Why am I putting my LLC on title? It just make no sense. Okay. I'm giving you a hard time. KJ, if you refi or you want a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, does the trustee then have to go and do the paperwork for me? Yes, the trustee has to do. With the lender? No. The lender is going to require the beneficiary to be the personal guarantee. So KJ, the trustee will sign all the docs, but the personal guarantee will still be on the beneficiary. All right. Okay. Also, when you sell, I don't know that one. You don't have to do. Oh yeah, the trustee will sign all the paperwork when you sell. KJ, Wanda, unable to download the documents. Tried twice and was charged twice. Please give me a refund. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened with that. Your printer's act. Oh Lord. Just send me an email, Wanda. Email me chrisbuyshouses@gmail. Troy, do you have to use an LLC for beneficiary on your land trust? You don't have to, but I highly recommend it. KJ, what does the closing look like? Do you sign with a notary or lawyer title company? Do you file anything with the county? Absolutely not. You better not be KJ's filing your land trust down at the courthouse after you notarize it. No one sees your land trust agreement. No one but you and the title company. And I'm trying to get around that too. There's another declaration of trust affidavit that I'm hopefully going to be getting. So you don't even have to show them the trust. We'll get to that. Oh man, there we go. I know where you guys are coming from. I need y'all to put your name in when you ask put your state when you ask a question. Kenny, you got the newest stuff? All right, let me go. I don't know what the problem is. Kenny, I'll check on that. I'll upload that. I don't know why that is. Silver Hound, guys, I've been putting off buying documents for months. No, years, and pulled the trigger. Oh man. Thank you, Silver Hound. Thank you so much for supporting your boy. I'm just working. I thoroughly enjoy teaching this stuff because I feel that it's no reason for you to have your name on a record. There's just no reason when it's so simple. Richard in New Jersey. Okay. Do I use the trust for the insurance on the house or the beneficiary's name? Both. I covered that a second ago. On my name, then I have the trust as additional insured. Jim, when you put a house under contract, do I bring the trust? No. I'm going to show you how it looks like when we put a house under contract. So let's say we want to make an offer on a house, right? The address to this house is 457 Main Street. Who asked this question? Jim. So what I'll do is we'll draft it up, or I will have the broker draft it up. The buyer is 457 Trust. That is the buyer. My trustee will sign off on it. And I'm glad you brought that up. How do we make an offer? Every time when you're like, for me, when we sign as a trustee, we sign comma trustee. Comma trustee. So if you're a trustee, like say for instance, if I'm your trustee, I'll sign comma trustee. That takes you out of the capacity of being personally liable. I wish I had that deed. Y'all, oh man. One time somebody asked me to be their trustee and they had Chris Haskins individually and as trustee. So you want to be Chris Haskins as trustee only, right? So that's how we do that. The trustee signs in the capacity of the trustee. Okay. KJ, I asked my first question too early. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, my friend. Keith. Hey, Keith. Can the land trust be used in California? Yes, it can. That was easy. KJ, oh, you are a woman. My bad. I ain't mean it. Don't come with too bad. Anyone? Oh, you're in the A. Danny, I wasn't asking you had property from myself. Oh, okay, cool. Danny, stop messing with me. I'm gonna get you. So I can do a trust agreement with a seller at their kitchen table or anywhere instead of at an attorney's office. Yeah, they don't care. We do them all the time. Why you don't have to have an attorney. But what does your land trust have to do with your seller? The seller, your land trust has to do with you buying the property. Your seller ain't got nothing to do with that. In regard to selling, Kurt, well, we got about 20 questions. I don't remember what you asked. I'm sorry. Kimbella, how do I add the trust to your homeowner's insurance as additional insured? All you have to do is call them up, tell them, like for me, it's State Farm. I say, hey, I own this house in a trust. What do you recommend? Let them tell you. They'll tell you. Kirk in Arizona, I know it's nice out there. Mr. Nate, what are my thoughts on using a quitclaim deed to transfer title into a trust on your property? I guess you could. I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily like quitclaim deeds, but I guess you could. That's a good question. I don't know about that one. Sorry about that. Ronald, H-Town. Just wanted to shout me out for all the info and quoting the good books. God bless you, my brother. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. I am thankful. Can we buy a house with hard money using a land trust? Absolutely. Under one condition. You can do that. But what the hard money lender is probably going to require, and we do. We lend money. We are going to require your beneficiary must be an LLC. All right. Okay. So that's not like it's a big deal. Your beneficiary, because remember, hard money guys only loan to LLCs. So the good thing about the trust is the LLC is the beneficiary of the trust, so they can have that LLC personally liable. Good question. That was a good question. Can I buy a house? Hard money. That was a good one. I like that one. Dennis, is this being recorded? It's recorded for today. It'll be here for another day. Headed to the title company Monday. Good for you. All right, you do want to ask it. BX, how would I figure that you would say that? You must be, you want some stuff. Okay, asset protection. All right, I'll get my boy Bill. We'll get Bill back up here. Paige, thank you, Chris. Downloading my packet. They're good for you. You're thankful. God bless you. Thank you for letting me serve. Thank you for allowing me to serve. I would be nothing without you. I would be nothing. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Jersey, Christian, you're in Jersey. You got some high numbers up there. Eden, this has been amazing. Praise God. I'm so honored. I'm honored. Christian, you're doing some stuff, Christian. I can tell by your picture. What are the consequences if I do a sandwich lease option with a trust? Let's talk about that for a minute, Christian. One second. Let me pull this up. Christian, you doing some stuff. You messing around up there. I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want you to get in trouble. Christian. Sandwich lease option. You got a lease option with your buyer. Lease option with your buyer. The lease is in your company name. Option in your trust. You're selling that. No. You're keeping that in place. You go out and find a tenant buyer with your land, with your trust. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Because your option is in your trust. But don't forget, you don't own it. So you're in the middle. You're the meat in the middle. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I do. That's how we do it. So your option is in your trust. The option. I said, okay, all right, I got y'all. Asset protection. We'll go ahead and get Bill. I got to get Bill on here. Bill is a beast when it comes to that stuff. Hey Richard, if you have your LLC as the trustee, you can, and personally as the beneficiary, who would go to sign and closing if we want to still keep our anonymity? Well, it depends on what type of anonymity you are referring to, Richard. If you're talking about privacy on title, you're private with that. But if you go to the closing to buy the house, then the people that see you are going to know. They have to see the documents. They have to see your LLC documents and your land trust. They're going to want to know who the beneficiary is. And the trustee, you got to sign. So, and even if you sign as managing member of the LLC, they have to see the LLC documents to see who the members of the LLC are, Richard. So, but you're still anonymous on public record. Ms. VSCN, if trustee does not have a copy of the trust agreement, they better not. How does the closing attorney get a copy to complete the HUD? You are going to give it to them, Ms. VSN. You give them the HUD. The beneficiary controls the trust agreement. The beneficiary gives the trust agreement to the title company or the attorney. Eden, can I language that requires the trustee to send notification if they sell refinance on behalf of the trust? You can add whatever you want, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a big deal. Most of the time, what I'm finding out about the trustees is they don't care what you do. They sign their docs and they're gone. They could care less about your property. I wasn't taught any of this. Brother, that's cool. Me neither. Brother, you think any of us were taught this stuff coming out of the womb? This is round up. This is the way of the wealthy. I'm telling you, this information here is what the wealthy do. You have to make a decision. Are you going to walk with the wealthy or stay over on this side with the not so wealthy, if you would say? It's okay. We all had to learn this. That's right. You did. Transfer. Your owner occupant. I think, Kirk, you're saying, yeah, I own my personal house in the trust. Absolutely. Silver, here's a 30-day challenge to get the property out of your name. You know what? Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do it. I accept. I'm going to get this daggone house out of my name. It has been a sore for me. All right, I'll do that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on it. In 30 days, matter of fact, I'll do another on the next class, the next land trust master class. I will have that house out of my name. That is my goal. Daughter of the creator, asset protection. Okay, I got you. Uh-oh, this guy has some stuff. Oh, he's got a assignment of beneficial interest. You can. Yeah, good point. Sierra, does the trustee handle everything with Section 8 if I'm going to Section 8 to rent the property? They can. I don't. I usually take over all of the responsibilities and obligations and the duties and interfacing with the tenant, because you don't want to bug your trustee. They're already not making a lot of money. You want to just kind of make their lives easier. Just handle. I highly recommend just handle all the obligations and responsibilities of dealing with the tenant. Section 8, they will never do a title search to see who owns the house. I never have. Matter of fact, I manage properties for other people, and they've never asked for a deed. They don't care. You're going with a lease, and they write your check. Round up. Make sure you get your land trust document packet. I promise you the sale will end tonight. I'm giving it to you for 50% off. So you're spending, this is less than going out to eat dinner. Get your land trust document packet, half price, in the video description below. Sale ends tonight. Sandrika, hey, Sandrika, should this be applied to tax liens? Always, always, always buy in a land trust. Buy in a land trust. Okay. That's right. Affidavit of trust, when you can present it instead of the whole trust document. That's right. I need to get one of those. I don't have one. That way even the attorney or the title company doesn't even have to have your trust agreement. That's gangster. Kenny, I have to update it. Trust docs. Kenny, you messing with me? G-Rock. Hello. When you have a tenant that wants to do a rent to own, can the property put property taxes in there? Can they put property taxes in their name? I heard that it's being done with someone I know. No. Rent to own, it all depends. Rent to own is a layman's term. Rent to own could be owner finance, could be contract for deed, could be land contract, could be lease option. So I don't know how you're referring to, but on a rent to own during a lease option, the taxes will not be in their name. They don't own it. They just have an option to buy it. Look at that baby. Hey, Gary. Thank you for all you do. Your dogs function in Georgia. Well, praise God. Thank you. How does the trust beneficiary pay taxes? What IRS forms? It's all, Gary, good question. It's all on the Schedule E. I wish I had my tax returns here. I'll just show you. Don't forget, Gary, the land trust is nothing but a pass-through entity, pass-through. It goes right through to the tax ID of the beneficiary. All right. Sandrika, should this be applied with taking over tax liens? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I thought I did that one already. Absolutely. Yes, always buying a land trust. Who is my father and what does he do? My father is, unfortunately, I'm being transparent. He's retired. He suffers from PTSD, and we're praying for him. We hope he gets some help. He's a terrible alcoholic, but he was a winner. Raised us very stern, did a very good job. I love my dad dearly. We just need him to get some help. Keith, the only document anyone has to see is a trust deck. That's right. Everything else done in court. You're absolutely right, my brother. Options trader Dan. Chris, will putting your home in a trust protect us from the scammers who are now recording fake deeds and then borrowing all the equity out of the home, leaving homeowners without a home and broke? Ugh. That's nasty. I don't know too much about that one. I hope. I don't know. I don't know about that one. It's hard to go about scammers. They're good. Troy, can I use land trust in Jersey? Yes, you can use a land trust in 50 states, my friend. Any states. Anthony, what up, Ant? How does this work with refinancing and insurance companies? We covered that a second ago, but I'm just telling you what I did, what I do. First thing I did was I called the insurance company and I told them, listen, I own these houses in a trust. What do I do? Let them tell you. First thing to step with that. What I did was I have a policy in my name, and then I just have the land trust, the trust as an additional insured, right? So both of us are covered. I don't want no problems when the house. I had one fire so far in my career. That was one of the ones I had in my name, so it wasn't no problem. But the insurance companies, they looking for some reason not to pay. It's crazy. B Express, is there a preference that hard money lenders want as far as where your LLC is registered? That I don't know. I do not know. Kristen, thank you so much, brother. Your knowledge and love is priceless. Much love to your 2020. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thanks, Kristen. Thank you, brother. Thank you. This is it's unbelievable. You guys are showing up today at 110. Do the Gary, does the trustee have an obligation not to disclose your identity? Absolutely. The only reason the trustee will disclose your identity is through a court order. Okay. That's in the trust. That's right. G-Rock. Sears, thank you for sharing. You are so welcome. Roundup, you are so welcome. Oh my goodness, I am just so honored. How does this work with? We went over that one, Ant. Gary Bear, thank you, thank you, thank you. Rounduppers, make sure you take a second to subscribe to my channel, like this content, and go ahead and download your. I mean, I'm giving them away. I'm damn near giving them away, half price. Get your land trust documents. There's no reason for you to buy a house in your name or your LLC name now and here out. Now, once again, don't beat yourself up. It's a different question. Don't beat yourself up if you don't quite understand this yet. Took me 3 years listening, studying, meeting people, looking at docs, traveling. Anthony, how does this work with refinancing? Well, it all depends. And if you have the house in the trust and you go to a conventional lender, like a big lender, they will not let you keep it in a trust. So what I do is I use local banks. If you have to use a bank, which I hope you don't. But the big banks will not let you do this. So you put it back in your name, refinance, take it out of your name, put it back in the trust. Boom, it's over. Your educational service is very valuable because of the experience I have. Thank you so much. You know what, man? I'm just walking it. I'm just trying to walk it. I want to be what I want to see in my community. And this internet lets me touch people all over the world. Roundup, thank you. We've been on here for, wow, hour and 40 minutes. Good Lord. Thank you so much for you guys hanging out with me, showing up. Get your docs below. Rewind the video. You can go over it with me. And it's not that simple. Don't make it more complicated than it is. You know, I feel like I get calls all the time. Chris, would you still use a land trust if you're doing X? Each and every time, 100%. Let me write it down. 100%. Every time. Every time, buy with land trust. All right, so I wrote it down. So y'all don't be calling me. Don't be emailing me. Would you do it this way in a trust? Yes, 100%. We buy in land trust or grantor revocable trust. Okay, my rounduppers. Don't forget, my baby boy. We're narrowing the names down. Email me names you're thinking. I'm gonna put a list out for the names that we're picking. We got Princeton was number one in the running. Princeton is what we're thinking, but we've got our baby registry at Target, Amazon, and Walmart. We are happy to whatever you guys would like to bless us with. We're more than happy to get that. Or did I not answer a question here? I didn't get to my cue. Sorry about that. Behind the lens. What's your question? You know what? I don't mind. Where are you at? I'm here. I mean, this is what I'm doing for the rest of the day. After this, I'm going to get me some water and checking my mail. And I'm still back at work. Super appreciate it. What was your question behind the lens? If you want to put it on here, I got about 10 seconds left. I'll wait for that one. You got it? Yep. Yes, sir. Oh, man. Ant, good to see you, my friend. Okay, Roundup. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys soon. Love you. Talk to you. Peace. Get those docs.